Hello everyone, Simon here with a review of The Last Campfire. The Last Campfire is a gorgeous puzzle game that's available for PlayStation 4, as you see on your screens, that's where I bought it, but also Apple Arcade, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch and PC, although on PC it's currently an Epic Games Store exclusive, coming to everywhere else in 2021. The Last Campfire is a game that's concerned with emotions and how emotions can be portrayed into puzzles of gameplay, and I'll explain what I mean, and you'll probably see it on the screen as well as I kind of explain how it all works. You play as Ember, and Ember is on a journey, and that journey is kind of up for debate as to what it really is, but you're travelling across 3 separate worlds, tasked with the idea of moving on. Now that could be moving on from life to death to an afterlife. It could be from light to dark in terms of mood and emotion. It could be, as I started to interpret it, as a being disinterested and giving up on life to finding passion and resolution in life again. And as you come to each world, you find a campfire where some embers have been also left behind. And the person that looks after the campfire basically tasks you as, you can move on if you want to, but if you'd like to try and help other people, I'll help you kind of guide you around and find where you need to go to get these other embers, help resolve their issues, and then you can all kind of move on together. It's up to you how many people you help. There's kind of like a minimum that you need to do before you move on to the next world, but you don't have to get them all. And The Last Campfire is very forgiving because you can't die or reach a game over state. And that kind of makes each puzzle feel achievable and obtainable because you know that you can't ever get into a fail again, like an end fail state. You just simply reset the puzzle and try again. Each world is its own puzzle. Which I quite liked. So before you can even get to the puzzles, you've got an overarching overworld puzzle to deal with. Some of them involve like fishing or moving of rocks or getting swallowed up by a frog and finding bait or finding keys. There was one specific puzzle in the second world which I thought was absolutely phenomenal, where you would collect pieces of a map and put them on a map board, but you could rotate and move all of the pieces around, and you found that actually you was moving the path of other screens around you all at the same time to reach all different locations. The way how it all comes together makes perfect sense. And then what blew me away first technically, but also just in the way how the game's narrative all comes together, is that when you do meet an Ember who has been what the game calls forlorn, which I took as interpreted as kind of lost in life and needs to find their way, you would enter seamlessly into a puzzle of sorts, and those puzzles are quite varied. Some of them will be block pushers, some of them will be like stacking and moving around of blocks, some of them would be like moving of levers back and forth or playing with wind elements or elements in general of trying to like get a flaming stick across loads of windy chasms. All different types of puzzles, normally only taking up a couple of screens at maximum, but they're all tightly knit and individual, and they come with a narration. And the narration holds the whole story and the puzzle element and the story of Ember, the character that you're playing, all together and wraps it in a really neat and meaningful bow. The actress who plays it has a rich and wise and knowledgeable and comforting Scandinavian voice. And that voice carries so much weight with it because she's able to be comforting and resilient at the same time. And although she's talking sometimes in rhyme, sometimes just giving pearls of wisdom, I guess would be the best way to describe it. It just feels like when you hear that, you see the puzzle and you see that the puzzle is an interpretation of what she's speaking and feeling about. It's almost like they've gamified an emotional or relationship-based issue and problem into like a block puzzle of sorts. Kind of reminding me of how Catherine's story would go, although completely different types of games and aesthetics and styles and feelings. This is about being introspective and thinking about your own emotions and how you can kind of deal with that, played out in beautiful, simplistic-ish puzzles. And I say that because I love puzzle games, but I'm terrible at them, and I was able to get through this game quite happily. All of that comes together beautifully to provide a game that feels like it's got real, true meaning to it. You could almost put it as a properly playable, quote unquote, like journey-esque style of game where you could imply loads of meaning into that type of game. This one provides a narration, actual puzzles for you to do. It's beautifully put together. The gorgeous graphics really pop because they feel handcrafted and handmade. Ember as a character reminds me of Vivi from Final Fantasy IX, although completely different, I understand. But interestingly, giving the same kind of lost sadness in the world vibe. And I just fell in love with the world and the way how it was put together, the inhabitants, the narrator, the music. It is more than the sum of its parts, and way more so. This is a small scale game done right. And I can't heap enough praise on it. Thoroughly enjoyed myself with it from beginning to end and would happily replay it again in an instant. So that is The Last Campfire. It's out now. I think it might become something of a sleeper hit over time because this is going to be a game that I think will pick up through word of mouth and momentum. So I strongly recommend you get on the bandwagon early because there might not be enough campfires to go round. So take a light, chill out, and enjoy the time that you have on The Last Campfire, and hopefully enjoy some time here on Higher Plane Games too. There'll be a written review over on the website over on the weekend. Until then, you guys take care of yourselves and don't play too hard, he says. Bye for now.
Once again, Ember could feel eyes watching.
Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a collection of media projects ran by me. If you like what you see and want to find out more, visit patreon.com/Higher Plane Network. Your support can make so much more possible, be that a like, a comment, a share, or a pledge. Thanks for watching.